few minutes to get people in. Let's wait for some few minutes to get more people in. Let's give them like 3 minutes. And in the course of waiting for people to get in, I'd like to know where you're joining us from, which state, which local government, and the price of gas in your area. Kindly use the chat room and let's know where you're joining us from. Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Port Harcourt. Please drop your location. Want to know where you're joining us from? Kindly help us drop it in the chat room. I want to know where you're joining us from and your location. Hello, can someone hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, from Lagos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mr. Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining from Lagos. Thank you. Agbara, Lagos State. Gas is 1,200. Abuja, gas is 1,200. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael. Thank you and thank you. Awesome, awesome. Thank you and thank you and thank you. Please drop your location. Where are you joining us from? We are glad to have you on this webinar this evening. Akure 1,100. Wow. That's nice. That's it. That seems fair enough. Thank you so much. From Abuja 1,200. Don't you have anybody from the north? The north, Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt, if you are here, say hi. We want to greet you. We want to say hi. We want to know how much is gas price over there. Port Harcourt. Okay. I think we've waited for 3 minutes. Waited for 3 minutes and more people have joined and they are still joining. 4 minutes, 1 minute to go. From Port Harcourt, how much is gas? Mr. Frankeze, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Unveiling the Nigerian gas market beyond the barriers and market intelligence 2026. Okay, 1,150 pump price. Okay, thank you for sharing. I believe we are all listening to the prices in this different location. Uh, okay, so we can proceed to the business of the day. Okay, my name is Adebukola Salamin. I'm the product manager of LPG Nigeria, where we help with LPG advocacy for Nigeria. We also share a platform where we share LPG insights and also provide opportunities for the LPG value chain players. We are here tonight to help you increase market intelligence, your knowledge about the market, so you can scale and have a profitable business in year 2026. So before I proceed, I would like to share the agenda of the webinars meeting. So let me share the agenda of tonight's webinar. Let me share the agenda. Okay, the agenda, we've done the welcoming of the guest. We have some few housekeeping rules that we'll be sharing after intimating us with the webinar agenda. The agenda, we're going to be talking about NMDPR regulations for the LPG gas plant owners. We're also going to be talking about the Nigerian billion naira industry, the gas industry, which we know. Also, we're going to be teaching you how to be profitable in the gas based industry in year 2026. LPG business has changed, it's not like before. So if you are playing in this industry in the year 2026, you have to be smarter than before. LPG is no longer about buying and selling gas again. It was like that in the past, but now you play with market intelligence. So you have to get yourself in tuned with what is happening in the market now if you know you want to win, if you know you don't want to fold up. So with this, I would like to know if you are an old operator in the business or you are new to the business. Kindly drop it in the chat section if you're an old operator or if you're a new operator in the business. If you are new, say hi. If you are old, say new. If you are new, say new. If you are old, old. We need all this market intelligence so that we can know how to churn out more content and more information to help you grow in your business. Please, if you are old, say old. If you are new, say new. Thank you so much. And in the course of that, I will like to share some housekeeping rules before we start the webinar. As a reminder, there's going to be a survey at the end of the session. Is either we provide a survey at the end of the session during the webinar. We want to hear from you your feedback about the industry and also your feedback about the webinar. I want to know if we are doing things right and the areas that you would love us to be better and improve on. Secondly, if you have any questions during the presentation, please drop it in the chat room or in the question and answer box area. Our customer support is on standby to also attend to some of the questions. So if you have any question that is so burning, you can drop it in the chat room or write it down. At the end of the presentations of the speaker, we are going to attend to it. I believe you have all your questions here tonight, and we have our speakers prepared. They are prepared for you tonight. Then we don't want any interruption during the presentation. Please, we are all adults and we want us to behave maturely. And lastly, the webinar will be recorded and to be displayed on our YouTube channel for us to rewatch it and understand better. Thank you so much. So the next thing on the agenda is for me to bring up our speakers. And I'm bringing up the first speaker from NMDPRA in person of Mr. Paul Okoye. Please, before I bring him up, I would like to read out his profile. Mr. Igbokwe, please can you help me display his profile? Okay, let me share. I'm sharing. So our speaker from NMDPRA is none other person than Mr. Paul Oluwakayode Toyo. Is a regulatory compliance expert, a cybersecurity lead, and a business strategist. Okay, so I read. Mr. Paul Oluwakayode Toyo is a seasoned professional with over 15 years of cross-functional experience in information technology and the oil and gas sector, so that we can know the caliber of the expert that will be speaking to us tonight. As the lead consultant at Phantom Global Services, Paul bridges the gap between complex industrial operations and digital security. He specializes in navigating Nigeria's evolving regulatory landscape, acting as a strategic liaison between operators and key bodies such as NMDPRA and NUPRC. With a proven track record in securing critical approvals for LPG, CNG, and retail filling stations, Paul's mission is to eliminate the administrative stress for clients by managing the end-to-end documentation for OGISP permit and facilities licenses. He allows businesses to remain focused on growth while ensuring full compliance with the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) standard. Beyond consultancy, Paul is a dedicated educator and tech advocate. He serves as a cybersecurity instructor at JIT Solutions Limited and is a member of the United Nations Online Volunteers, contributing to global NGO project, a natural leader since his early years. Paul combines his background in human anatomy with advanced postgraduate training in information systems to provide a unique analytical approach to business operations and cyber security awareness. On this note, I would like Mr. Paul Okoye Oluwakayode Toyo to take over. Please let's welcome him with a round of applause. Let's share some emojis to show our love for him. Let's welcome him. Mr. Paul, you're welcome. We're glad to have you here
Thank you
tonight.
so much.
So
Thank
you
you.
can share your screen. I have to stop sharing my screen, or should I share for you?
Yes, go ahead and share, please. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone. You're all welcome to this webinar. I believe that after the webinar today, you would have learned, probably unlearned, and you would have relearned. So, I want to also just keep an open mind and let's take it in and then we can now ask any question during the Q&A session. So my aspect of this webinar is mainly focused on the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority regulations, which have to do with setting up and operation of gas plants. And let me just say it that many people have always asked that, yeah, this one, I received so many calls. They'll say, yeah, one does DPR less because I'll be using the word, the acronym NDFDPR and DPR interchangeably because that's what we're used to. So, so they'll be asking me, does DPR care about this small one, this small tank? So, for the regulation that DPR works with, it it starts from 0.1 metric tons and above. So that's very essential so that you know that they are interested in everything. So in practice, they may not be able to enforce the regulation, but actually, theoretically, I mean, said in every aspect of the or every side as it were.
Your
Please, can
line
you
is
go to slide one, please?
breaking. Okay. Your line
Okay, my line is breaking.
is breaking. Can you see? Can you see my slide? My screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Yes, I can see it.
So I should go.
Okay, so we want to talk about this agency. Yes, you can go to slide two, please. So we want to talk about the agency that we are even talking about. What is NMDPRA? So it's like I said before, is the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulation, Petroleum Regulatory Authority. So, and they have their offices in if not all, almost all state capitals of Nigeria. So they have their offices, and from there, of course, they have a shortage of to try and reach every corner of everywhere, and so their area of coverage is mostly midstream and downstream, starting from depots, whether gas or petrol depot, to uh, plants, whatever size you may talk of, whether it's gas plant, then filling stations, petroleum filling stations where people sell PMS, AGO, and DPK. That's premium metal spirits, and kerosene. Of course, kerosene is referred as AGO. That's diesel. So they regulate all that, and also what is now fast becoming popular or commonplace, which is what's it called now? CNG facilities. So we have the CNG facilities. They are basically in two categories. One what we call the auto gas facility. Then we have where the CNG compression. So some say mother station and daughter station. So they are all involved in that. Next slide, please. So they are all involved in the regulation of all those places. So yes, the next slide. So what are the things you need to know if you want to set up? Because I try to put up this presentation based on my interaction with people over the years concerning this, and we have what we call things that you need to know. At times, many people they just go get a land, and they look at the land, they believe that that land should DPR must accept it. No, there are so many things they look at. There are so many things they look at. So if you want to set up uh, 5 ton, 5 tons, if you want to set up 5 tons, if you want to set up five
Eh,
tons or 2.5 tons, you could say you could manage maybe a plot or uh, something higher, a little higher than that. So, but when you are talking of 10 tons, and in some field offices now, they don't even, I think, particularly in the south, I think in the if you want to set up 1 metric ton, it must be two plots. So those are things you need to have in mind. There must be two plots. And I believe the reason why they are doing that is that they believe that because of future expansion, if today they give you your approval, and peradventure you set up a place where there you don't have neighbors or neighboring buildings. Tomorrow, if people decide because of development and increase in population, people decide to come there, what now happens to those people that have decided to site their residential or be doing this or business buildings in those places? So, but if you have two plots, it will most likely be like a cushion that will create the necessary buffer zone already. So I believe in that. So, but in some other places, you could still get away with a one plot. Now, sometimes there's a conflict. I think we'll get there when I'm talking about my frequently asked question. Now, there's a particular place. I think let me even mention in Oyo State. Now, DPR can go there and give you approval if you're using one plot, provided there is no building around the place or anything that could where people could gather and they will be endangered. But the town planning in that same Oyo State is saying that they will not approve a gas business for anyone unless the place is two plots. You can see the conflict. Meanwhile, DPR understands some things, they are more advanced. The town planning are just trying to catch up. That's just the truth of the matter. But the issue is that if DPR tells you you can go ahead and town plan does not agree, you can't go on with that business. That's just the truth of the matter. So those are challenges there. But there are some of the things you should look out for when you are setting up. You don't buy or get a land for the gas plant that is near high tension cables, high tension wire passing overhead. Don't do that. They will never approve that. Don't get a place that is near a mast. There is near a mast. They will most likely not approve that. Don't get a place where you have a transformer very close, power transformer very close. They will most likely not approve that. Don't get a place where you have a church very close by. They will most likely not approve that. Then a school that has a school nearby. Those are some of the constraints that may make the place not. So those are things you need to look out. Then another thing again you should also look at is that's one of the reasons why I would have suggested something if you can go along with it. The best bet for these things is to do what we call pre-inspection. And the reason why you do that pre-inspection is that, okay, for instance, I had an experience in somewhere in Ogun State. Somebody was showing me something, a video of a place and the survey plan. And I was looking at it and that place would be too tight. But I said, okay, let me see it physically. Thank God I took along the DPR staff. And when we got there, incidentally, just adjacent that place, though that place wouldn't have worked anyway. Adjacent that place, somebody had already gotten license to construct or what we call approval for to construct.
Oh, your network, your network, your
And
network. Please, can you come again? Your
that's
network was breaking
just
then. Oh my
the
God.
regulation. You don't
We
cite
lost you. Hello,
um,
sir. Hello, sir.
for filling station or anything. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, it was breaking. Can you repeat what you just said?
Okay, what I was saying is that I think people had when I talked about the things that could make the place unprovable. And I
Yes,
mentioned last that if your site is too close to an already approved site, normally
yes.
when people get approvals, they are supposed to set up signboards indicating the approval number, but hardly do people do that. So that's another thing that could be a constraint when it comes to the issue of gas plants, setting up or selecting a site for a
Okay.
proposed gas plant. Yes. So let's go ahead. Okay, so we have three levels of approval when it comes to um, getting permit for your proposed gas plant. We have three levels of approval. We have the license to establish, which was formerly referred to as site suitability approval. Then we have mm, uh, license to construct,
Okay.
which was formerly referred as approval to construct. Then we have your license to operate, which has always been licensed to operate. So we're going to talk about the three things you need to. A license, you have to, of course, have your company profile. So you must have your create an account and all that. Once you do that, the next thing will be to put in the address, the proposed address of uh, the site that you want to use. And okay, yes, after doing that, you will now need to make payment. Now the payment is not fixed. It depends on the size of storage that you want to put up. That's what will determine uh the payment that you make. It starts, the lowest is 105 and it goes 205, 10 tons, 320 tons, and so on and so forth. After making the payment, you are intended to upload the necessary and the required documents, which include your CAC certificate, your CAC memorandum and articles of association. In your memorandum article of association, it must on the services. You must have uh, oil and gas included in the services you render. Then number three, you should have your survey, the survey plan of that particular place, the FRS tax clearance certificate, your FRS company FRS tax clearance certificate, and lastly, your site layout. That site layout gives details of where you are going to put the tank, put the pump house, put the gate, put the admin building, and so on and so forth. So once you do that, they will come for inspection. If it's okay, then you get the approval. Moving on to the next stage, which is license to construct. Already you've created the profile in the first stage, so you don't need to repeat that. All you need to do is to move to um, making the necessary payments. Making the necessary payment because you have obtained your site suitability approval or license to establish. You make the necessary payments for license to construct. Then you upload the required documents, and the required documents include town planning approval, and also the drawing showing the architectural, the mechanical, and the electrical aspect of the plant, the code and standard, police report, fire service report. Then, if your the size of your proposed storage is 10 tons and below, you could do, though there's the issue of environmental assessment, there's a transition ongoing now in DPR or NMDPRA. They are trying to set up new regulations. But for now, some offices allow you to do mandatory environmental site assessment, whether you are doing 5 tons, 10 tons, 20 tons. But some others all insist that you must do EIA if it's above 10 tons. So it now depends on the office. It depends on the office. So those 6 documents, together with the earlier ones you uploaded, are the ones you need to submit at this stage. So once you submit them, you are once you see those documents, they will come for a session again. Then once it's okay, they will give you the approval. After that, you do your construction. After license to construct, you do your construction, you install what you want to install. Then you now need to do some tests on the tank. You have to do 3 tests on the tank, what we call ultrasonic thickness measurement, which is test the thickness of the tank you are installing. Integrity test to show how much that tank you are installing can withstand pressure. Then calibration, which shows your measuring equipment. Are they well calibrated? Those 3 tests are needed. The reports are needed for the final licensing process. So coming to the license process, the payment is usually, there's an additional processing fee, I think about 200,000, additional to what you paid, the regular payment you might have made in the other stages, in the previous stages. Also for the test, you also need to make some statutory payments. the consultant, NMDPI consultant will be the one carry out those tests. And then once it's satisfactory, they will give you the approval. Then you submit those tests, submit a standard operating procedure, then evidence that your attendants or the operators have been trained, photographs of the establishment, fire certificate. I think that is about it. I think plans showing how the places. Once you do that, you giving and it's satisfactory. They will come for inspection, then give you your your license. Now that license to operate is valid for 2 years. You renew every 2 years. You renew every 2 years. So once you get it, you renew. And I want to tell us, you can't transfer a permit from one location to the other. Some people have asked me before that once they get a permit, they can just move to another location. And no, the NMDPRA permit is issued per location because they came to that place for inspection. So they issue it per location. They don't transmit or they don't transfer what's it called? Permits. It's fixed to a particular location. So I think yes, that is that. So I going to the we have different types of permit in when it comes to plants, LPG plants, gas business, types of permit. We have what we refer to as the one we have been talking about, which is the LPG plant permit. That's one of the most decent. Then there's one that's for buying and selling of gas. Then we have there are some people that use their LPG tanks to power generators or to power manufacturing. We call that one category A, LPG category A. So those ones who have their own permit route is also LTE, LTC, and LTO too. So just minor differences in the requirements. Then we have category D, retailers, which are supposed to do not the retailers so that do all these 50 kg cylinder to cylinder. That's not the way that DPR captured it. The way they captured it, they are looking at an organized place where people just go, pick, drop their old cylinders or their empty cylinders and pick new one, pick another one, well ventilated, well aired, and a very good location. So it's not all these ones that we have in cubicles or stores. That's not their own vision. And that's why you see that it's very few people have that category D license. In fact, very, very few. Very, very few. So, and it's a story for another day anyway. So then we have add-on permits. We have the add-on, and this add-on is for people that are already running a fully licensed filling station, petrol filling station, and desire to also sell gas alongside within the same premises. We have what we call add-on. We call it add-on permit. Then we have reticulation permits. People that want to set up gas plants, not plants per se, but estates where you pipe gas into homes. That's what we call reticulation permit. Then, if you are somebody that owns, excuse me, that owns trucks, gas trucks, you also have some permits you can also get, which is just basically integrity and calibration part. And those are things that they must present at the depot but they are loaded. So I think it's valid for, is it 3 or 5 years? I can't remember now. I can't remember. Can we go to the next slide, please? I think I've really taken. Okay, then we'll talk about the frequently asked questions. Go to the next slide, please. All right. Some people ask that can they use a leased land? That you leased the land, you didn't buy it. Can you use? Yes, you can use it. So, but I always ask people, if you are leasing land, let's say you lease a land for maybe 2 million naira, and you want to get your approval or your permit that will cost you maybe 6, 7, 8 million. Does it make sense since it's not your place? So, but there are some people that have had this kind of leasing arrangement whereby they lease for maybe 10 years or thereabout. So they can afford to do what they want. You understand? Those people can afford to spend a lot of money. So of course you can use a leased land, but you have to have evidence of the agreement and all that. Then we have what we call takeover. Takeover. Takeover is a situation whereby somebody is operating a place before, and you just want to, maybe you signed an agreement, whether the person sold it to you or leased it to you. You want to do that license in your own company name. You may have a 5-year agreement, 10-year agreement. You want to do takeover. It's acceptable. It's allowed. Next slide. I think there's a question about NMDPRA and state actors. Are they, who is uh, who is uh, who is bigger, who is this? And one thing is the state owns the land. It's governors that sign certificate of occupancy. So you just have to dialogue with the state. Or even if once the state says you can't use this place, there's nothing deeper can do. That's just the gospel truth. Nothing deeper can. And there's other things. If land is big enough, what are the things you can do? You can decide not to use above surface tank and bury the tank. So that one will reduce the safety distance that is needed. So you can use a smaller land to accomplish that. So, but we have had challenge with the town in some places because they don't recognize that. They believe that once it's plant is plant, but they don't recognize that the knowledge is progressive and we are knowing better per day. You understand? So they just believe that once it's a plant, it has to be two plots. It doesn't matter. But we are, of course, with a lot of knowledge and even with experience, they have more experience than the state had. They'll be able to see that, yes, if you bury it, at least it will shield uh, anyone. It serves as a shield from any issue that may arise if the vessel has an issue. And mind you, I think one of the things that is also apprehension of whether federal or state this thing is most of the incidents we have been in the process of delivering gas have had to do with trucks. When delivering gas to the mostly that's when accidents do happen. But that somebody is just operating his gas plant and in the process accident happen is very. If you try and do your research at the accidents that have occurred in terms of gas plants in Nigeria in the recent past, you will see that they had to do when gas was being offloaded or a gas truck that was in accident or something like that. So, if you have a place and you are doubtful whether that place can work or not, I think best for you to uh, ask for prayer before you commit in by the place. So you can reach out to the support. They know what to do on that aspect. So if there are any questions, I'm sure there may be some things I didn't cover. I'm still here. So during the question and I will be available to attend to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Thank you for that powerful presentation. We are grateful. Before we move on to the next presentation, I'd like to open the chat room if you have any questions for Mr. Paul, so we can deal with that now. Please, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself and speak. And we're giving room to just three people. Just three people. If you have any question you want to ask him directly,
Yes,
please
I have a
unmute your mic. Okay, Mr. Ambrose, you can go ahead.
question. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I was very I don't know that for locking me out because I'm in transport. I beat out some aspect. Basically, The question I want to ask, because at the point I got lost because the network logged me out, is like, because it's like this class is simple, particularly for me, just to say, because I have an FPG project I'm actually going on. I just got the suitability and approval some few days ago. I'm trying to get the other documents to apply for the authority to construct. But I missed out in the required document that he was mentioning for that, the main document for the approval to construct that are really, because I'm going for a 10 ton this thing. But the place I'm using, he also make mention of the land size. I have a big land size, but what is taking the 10 ton that based on my site plan is just on one plot fully taking the place. I don't know whether there's going to be any constraint on that. And also whether the risk assessment is important or the AIA at this stage, because some of the people I'm working with are giving me conflicting issues that I'm actually doing it in Edo State. They are saying that I will do EIA for building approval again. We also do risk assessment and all those conflicting. So I just need if you can just give me a clarification or a guide on how to go about it. That is my question.
Mr. Paul, you can take that question for us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ibuki.
Ambrose.
Ambrose. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. All right, sir. So let me start from the required documents. Apart from the ones I mentioned for the license to establish or site suitability approval, you need code and standards. Code and standard. We call it code and standards. It's actually for the tank. You need fire service reports, police service report, or police reports. Let's say police report.
I've got the police report. I've got the fire service
Okay.
report.
Okay. So now I believe that if it is 10 tons, you should be doing my mandatory environment site assessment, not EIA.
Okay, not EIA.
Not EIA. So, but the town line usually asks for EIA. That's
EIA,
one
yes.
thing. Yeah. Town plan usually asks for EIA. So if they're asking for EIA, in some states, they are taking the EIA
Yes.
from the town plan. So the Ministry of Environment in the state conducts the EIA themselves. So, but some other states, the town planning does all that EIA and everything. So, town planning, then the drawing, and I think I've mentioned there are 6. I think I've mentioned the 6: MESA, code and standard, fire service, police, drawing, then the town planning approval. Those are the 6 documents in addition to the 5 that you required in the first place. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Another question. Do we have this recorded for replay?
Yes, it will be uploaded on our YouTube web channel so
Okay.
that you can listen to it again. Thank you, Mr. Iboki.
Okay.
I
Thank
have
you.
a
Thank you.
question from the chat box, and it's saying that
I have a question as well.
how long should the DPR license take from Mr. Michael? Okay, sir. How long should the DPR license take? Mr. Paul?
Yes, it depends. The thing is I put a time. For that age, you should be talking about what doesn't take long. You should be talking about maybe 4 to 6. Then for the second stage, what makes the second stage usually take long is because of town planning approval, which you don't really have so much control. Some town planning approvals take 3 months, some takes months. I've seen one that I started in Ogun. I think 2024 or early 2025. I just got it today. So so that really delays, but ordinarily within 3 months you should be able to get your second level approval. So, and of course the third level depends on when you finish construction. You now start the application. So that one should take you within a month or 2. So, but basically, the weakest link in this chain is the town planning approval, which is outside the purview of DPR. They can see the approval.
Okay, I have a question. Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
So we
Okay,
have
my name
one
is Azan.
person, one more
Okay,
person. We have to go to the second
yeah,
presentation. So after
I have a
yours,
question.
the
My
other
name is
questions will
Azan.
come last. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Azan from Ogun State. I've heard a lot
Okay.
about installing a 1.5 gas tons. So there was an engineer that once told me that installing a 1.5 gas skid is more or less like having a shop, like the people that used to steal from the shop. So my question now is it compulsory for someone who has a 1.5 skid to have a license?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hassan. I think I mentioned that on that people have a lot of things they say when it comes to this thing. But as far as the regulation of NDPR is concerned, they regulate from 0.1 metric tons. So what's 0.1 metric tons? That's 10 kg, right? So to
Yes, yes, yes.
as many to as many as possible. Now, somebody is telling you that 1.5 is the same thing as somebody in the shop. People that are in the shop, I don't know, maybe you can have somebody that has like 10 cylinders, maybe 20. It's even very rare to see 20 this thing, but 1.5 metric tons is 30, 50 kg, you know.
Yes,
So
sir. Sure.
so but the challenge there is this, sir. um the only challenge you have is that town planning approval, they don't recognize that this thing is in scales, and that's where the issue always comes up. They ought to be like what should I call it, an adjustment when it comes to small scale. So they should not charging them as small, but you know the way it is. So that's where the issue. But as far as DPR is concerned, all those things are sometimes even DPR is even when they hear the amount that town planning is charging, that they that are the custodian of this thing, they are not even making that much money. So that's just the challenge, sir.
Okay.
Mm.
I have a
Okay, I'm good, sir.
question.
Okay, so I have
No, thank
Mr.
Yes.
Oludayo as the last person. Mr. Oludayo, you can go ahead.
Okay, I am Mrs.
Oh,
Mrs.
Mrs.
Oludare, yes.
Apologies, mom.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, my question is this. After setting up and after getting your license to operate, they've come for inspection and everything. So when you start selling, we have some officials that come once in a while. So along that line, they will start saying, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have. By the time we put it up again, they will come again and say that we don't have this again. We'll try to do it, and they will come up again. So my challenge now is that for a 3.5 tons, what is the size of leak detector you are supposed to use? Because the last time they came, they are telling me that I need to get a leak detector of like 1 million naira. I said for a 3.5 tons LPG add-on, I only hear that about for gas plant. So I want to clarify that out. What is the size of leak detector that we are supposed to? Is it the 1 million type, 1 million naira own, for a small skid, or I don't?
Well,
So if you can
who are the
enlighten us
officials?
on that.
Who are the officials, man, that are coming? They can't be from
They
DPR.
come, they come from DPR.
Well, which state are you from?
I'm in Lagos State. The
Oh,
only issue I'm having now is that they said my leak detector is small. So I changed it again. They came, the last
okay.
time they came to, they said I need to get a leak detector that I have to attach, that it costs like 1 million. So that's the only problem I've been having from them.
Okay, the leak detector you were using before, is it those white ones?
No, 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 it's the one that has the
Small
angle
antenna.
one. Yeah,
Okay, the
yes, that
handle
has
one.
the
Okay.
antenna. Yes.
And
So
that
for
one, I
a
think
for
the
a
range is
skid,
about 15 meters now.
yes.
Oh,
So for a skid, why will I
um,
get? How much are we making on profit? That will now be telling us
the
that we should get.
Well, the issue there is this: in every organization, there are people that always want to profit. So the only thing you can do is just to arm yourself with knowledge on all those
Okay,
things.
sir.
Though I don't know the specific circumstance. It may be that maybe in that particular area, maybe the place is choked somehow. Maybe they just want to
No,
be careful.
it's an LPG add-on. It's
I
an
know,
add-on with a
no, but
filling station.
that's a filling station. It's possible that maybe the place is choked. How Lagos is. You have things between houses. I don't know. Maybe
No, no,
something
no, no. It's very
specifically
no. It's
is
a
free.
very open place. Yes, it's on the road.
Okay.
It's on the express.
The thing is just try and check the leak detector you are using, the range, and tell them that this is sufficient. If you have something that is 15 meters range, I mean,
Okay.
for gas
Okay.
can go to 15 meters. You understand?
Yes.
Just try and check that one you are using to be sure the range. If you are sure, then you can always tell them, look, this is the range. And once you're able to meet them with knowledge, equipped with knowledge, they will back down. So,
Okay.
but if it's not up to that range, you may need to. But I don't. It's up to that. It's not that. There are others too. There's even one that has this light that once there's
Yes.
maybe leakage, it will just start blowing
Leakage.
alarm. It doesn't.
Yes, we
It's not
have that
even
one too
alarm.
for fire. We have
Eh,
that one too. That is so we have like two of it that is installed. But
so if
I don't
you
know.
have that, just that range is enough. So once they have given your LTO, all the other thing they are doing is not really. They are just trying to keep.
They've closed the plant before because of that. I had to call a boss at DPR before they opened it up
All right,
because
Ma, you
of
can
that leak
contact
detection.
us. You can contact us
No,
at the end of the
we'll put more
lecture.
about this one so that
Okay,
we
sir.
can. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you can chat us up for more
Yes.
information. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paul Olokayode. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Thank you for that powerful presentation. And on this note, we are going to the second presentation for the day. And I want to bring up the second presenter for the day. Yes. So I have here with me Mr. Godwin Okodua. Let's welcome him with emojis of love. Let's give him shouts. It's a powerful man. Godwin Okodua is a seasoned oil and gas professional with 20 years plus of expertise spanning logistics, operations, business development, and project management. He has played a pivotal role in shaping Nigeria's LPG industry, from leading the establishment of Falcon Corporation's LPG business to founding LPG in Nigeria, a digital platform providing critical market intelligence and stakeholder management. He is the current author of the book Beyond the Barrels, an LPG industry operating manual for Nigeria. Godwin Okodua is driving initiatives to digitize and expand the LPG sector through cross industry collaboration, a certified PMP and Six Sigma Black Belt professional. He has also served in leadership position with the Nigerian Liquefied and Compressed Gas Association, which is NAPCA, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, LPG Empowerment Initiative, and LCCI Lagos. On this note, I'll draw the curtains here and say, Mr. Gordon Okodra, I'll hand the baton over to you to take over the floor. And
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adebukola Salami. Thank you for the commitment, for the hard work. Thank you. Thank you for a very impactful presentation, Paul. Thank you for your support. And thank you, everyone who has made this webinar. I mean, what the while without you, we'll be talking to ourselves anyway. And for those who provided, current data, I mean, I was so impressed seeing some of us share their retail prices, in their location. This information is what we need We are working together. We work with the industry. We work with real people, real players in the industry, and we share this information by processing the data we get from them. So thank you very much. I won't take too much of your time. Once again, thank you for taking your time to be with us today. I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. Let me know when you can see my presentation. Okay. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my presentation.
No, we can't see it.
You can't see it. Okay, hold on.
We can't see it. No.
Okay, let's go. Let me share my entire screen. It appears you're still sharing.
No. Okay. I'll
Okay,
stop sharing.
okay. I should be good to go now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I hope the internet is better now. I prefer because I can't see the chat. I prefer people to unmute themselves and just say yes. I can hear you loud and clear, as many as possible. Just confirm you can hear me. Just unmute yourself to say you can hear me loud and clear.
I hear you
We
loud
can
and
hear
clear.
I
you
can
loud
hear
and
you loud
clear.
and clear.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So unveiling the Nigeria gas industry, and it's 2026. We keep unveiling the Nigeria gas industry and making reference to the book Beyond the Barrels. Thank you very much to a lot of you who
Well,
have supported
right,
us
I have a
by
question. Oh.
after this, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for those who have supported us by getting a copy of the Beyond the Barrels book. It comes with market intelligence, industry information, history, and how the pricing of the industry is done. How you can take position, how you
Please
can
mute yourself. Mute yourself.
what
Mute
you should
yourself.
look out for, what to avoid. Of course, the NMDPRA guidelines. You saw a bit of it from Paul and the likes. So I'll be fast with it so that we can discuss, have more time to answer your questions as they come. Thank you very much. Okay, the Nigeria LPG opportunity. Why is it an opportunity? If you look at the screen, you'll see how it has grown from 2008, from when the NLNG started partnering with the government, and it has grown from 70,000 metric tons in 2008 to today 1.6 million. Okay, you can see the trajectory. You see that from 2008 to 2020, it was very steep, more than 1,000% in growth. But from 2020 to date, it has grown. If you look at it from 1 million to 1.6 million, that's an average of 600,000 in 6 years. If you call it 5 years, 300,000, not much in terms of percentage, meaning the growth has plateaued, but the potential for growth is huge. According to the World LPG Gas Association, we are a 5 million tons market. So we are yet to achieve 2 million tons, meaning there's a lot of potential in this market. But potential alone is not enough. You know, how you make money from the potential is what counts. And how we move from 1.6 to 5 million will come with a lot of creativity, a lot of knowing how to use LPG, knowing a lot of knowing where to find the market will come. And that is some of the things we have shared in our book. So in front of you, you have some data. Last year, importation was importation importation via foreign sources was just 13%, meaning the local market has consistently grown. Apart from BRT and and NLNG, we see that other sources, Dangote, Kwale Hydrocarbon, Greenville, they are serving the market with a massive 54%, meaning that we have to be looking at what the local sources are doing. We will no longer depend on what the international market is doing only, but also what the local market is doing. I mean, when I mean local market, I mean local sources, production sources. All right. What comes to mind in the market nowadays is Dangote. If Dangote is producing, if Dangote is selling, what do you do? LNG keeps have been consistent through the years, and last year, LNG was responsible for about 20% of the market. They've been consistent. Even at a certain time when Dangote was down, LNG remained consistent, and they helped a lot in keeping the market liquid. I remember October Dangote was down, and there were indications that they would come back. They came back a bit and went off the market, and NLNG was on ground to fill the gap, and there were more imports. I will show you where how data showed what happened. Okay, some investors scale rapidly without information. Some scale with good information and make the required profits. Some stagnate for years because they made the wrong move. Some lose significant capital from wrong investment. All right, but it's no luck. It's strategy. It's strategy, and having a data-driven strategy is what we advocate at LPG in Nigeria. Okay, why investors get it wrong? They make emotional entry, poor access to industry data, ignoring depot volatility, weak demand forecasting, no structured intelligence. In front of you, if you go to LPG in Nigeria, you will see this. You will see that the average depot price has risen from an average of 16 million per 20 metric ton in February. And in front of you, you have February 20th. 16 million naira per 20 metric ton was the cost around 20th of February. Today, it's almost 20,000. I'm sorry, 20 million on the average. And if you look at your right, you see daily Mont Belvieu prices. You'll see that it has also shot up. So you can see the correlation. All right. And everybody has been following the US Iran war. This price jump was or is driven by the US Iran war. And that has actually affected our depot prices. But the reason why there's an what was the word? Or let me say there's a direct relationship in prices is because Dangote was out of the market. If we had a lot of Dangote volumes in the market, this wouldn't have happened. But guess what? Dangote has started coming back to the market. And what this could mean is that we could see prices, come back, except there's a strong demand. And that is where tracking of volumes coming to the market comes in. How much volume came in January, how much came in February, and how much volume could Dangote bring? Information suggests that Dangote can easily supply 700,000 metric ton. That's almost 50% of the market. But last year, there were indications that they barely supplied 400,000, which is a lot. So if Dangote can supply 700,000 metric ton to the market, how much does that amount to monthly? That should easily be around 60,000 metric tons. 60,000 metric ton is about 40% of the market. If that volume actually hit the market, what happens? But you can also follow data. The NMDPRA suggests that Dangote capacity for production has increased. Capacity for PMS production and capacity for petrochemical. Anytime Dangote is producing PMS and petrochemical, efficiently, it means there will be little LPG to produce because the same hydrocarbon Dangote uses for its production. So so that is why you should be constantly listening to the markets, listening to what that's why I brought this up. You must know what's going on here, and you must know what's going on at the other end. Very importantly, Kwale hydrocarbon. By the time you mention after NLNG, the next big producer is Kwale hydrocarbon, producing somewhere in the range of 300,000 metric ton per annum. So these are companies or production sources to listen for when determining how to enter the market or what to do, how to predict market trends. Okay, why this sector matters? It matters because it continues to be a commodity. LPG continues to be a commodity that both household and industrial um, 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 customer need. All right, they continue to please mute yourself. And LPG is not just for cooking, it has several uses. If you read up LPG, it is known as the versatile fuel because it's used for cooking, it's used for cooling, it's used for heating, it's used for driving, it's used for hot air balloon, it's used for aerosol, and it's used for production of foam mattresses. There are a lot of use of LPG, all right, for forklift use. And if you are creative enough, you'll see that you can create a niche for yourself whereby you have a customer that nobody's competing with you on. So it's a time to be very creative. So LPG has government support today. There's no VAT on LPG. Nobody should ask you to pay VAT on LPG. So proper documentation of your LPG transactions required. No taxman should ask you for VAT on LPG. There is no duty on LPG equipment now. So that's to show government support in growing the industry as a whole. It's climate aligned. LPG is recognized as a transition fuel, meaning LPG projects or LPG fuel can be used to earn carbon credits. The UN allows you to earn carbon credits on LPG projects. So it's a good place to come in. And you may have seen in the chatbot where there was an advertisement to enroll in the VCRM virtual cylinder recirculation model. Plant owners, LPG sellers can now earn carbon credits by by showing how how they have sold LPG and how it have been used. Once you can show that the LPG is being used by a customer, the quantity, you can earn carbon credit, and that's been done by some company we're in partnership with. All right, just hold on a bit, just in case. Okay, that's fine. Um, Consistent growth over the years, huge potential. I spoke about the fact that we are just at 1.6 when our potential is um, 5 million tons. Entrepreneurs require or need a structured entry into the market. Bankers need to understand the market to support the growth. Players need volume and margin optimization. So there need to be an alignment between volumes and margin optimization. So market intelligence, the real edge, yeah. So data, the difference between those who struggle and those who scale. In front of you, you have this is an excerpt from the NMDP area, which suggests that we had the highest in December. You see the coloring. If you look at the black color and the pink color, look at the legend. You see that the black color is monthly. Oh, sorry about that. Is monthly volumes. Actually, local volumes, while the pink color is import volumes. So you see that in November, December, when Dangote was not doing much, the import increased, and it made up for the shortfall in September. Okay, you can see how the market was up in January, it went down in March. In March, if you remember, there was a certain shutdown in Dangote. then went back again. The import guy said, okay, Dangote is down. Let's start importing. They imported a bit. Then Dangote came back. Then there was some more import. The market took the volumes, and it went on and off like that. All right. So there's need to see how there's a correlation between supply, depot prices, demand patterns, geographic consumption clusters. For geographic consumption clusters, it means which areas consume the most. We know that the southwest and south south consume a whole lot. Southwest southeast combined consumes a whole lot. The areas that is suffering in terms of low LPG consumption is the northeast. Yes, supply chain optimization. You need to know when trucks are needed. I see a situation whereby a lot of people are not able to benefit from Dangote. Is either they pay for Dangote products even when the price is low, but they don't load in maybe a month or more.
Yeah?
Meanwhile, somebody somebody is buying an expensive Papa product and is loading like twice in a week, but you that is trying to
Go on, I
load
go.
without fuel,
That leak you go there.
you're suffering
Yeah,
at the
got
end
new
of the day.
cylinder now.
All right, so you have to know how
What's that?
you need to know your logistics, how your supply chain can be optimized. All right, it's not just pricing alone. Sometimes you need to know whether which LPG source is closest to you. Do you have the right equipment to take the LPG to your LPG plant or retail station? So you need to plan your supply chain optimization. Of course, regulatory demand. What does the regulatory authority demand of you? You have to be aware. So you have to follow the news. What changes have coming? Just as the regulatory expert shared with us a moment ago, you have to be aware of the demand of the industry in terms of the regulatory expectations. So more on charts. If you look at last year, we have average cooking gas prices for retail. What you have there is naira per 12.5 kg. January last year, it was more than 16,000. You have about 17,000 average. Today is, February is just above 14,000 per 12.5 kg. Today we hear 1,400, which is about 15,000. And if we're not careful, it keeps climbing. But you can see some kind of correlation. There's a kind of correlation. You see that in July and September, we had the highest retail. At some point, there was a point where there was no import. I think it was July. There was no import, and Dangote had gone down, and the effect was massive. We saw huge lines, and that's affected retail. Also, beginning of last year, price was high. It's been the highest in over a year, over 22 million. It was before Dangote came in. Immediately Dangote came in, people lost money here. So within a week, Dangote price fell from about 22 million naira per ton, per truck to around, what do we have here? Around 19 million. People lost money between this and this. So you have to be careful what's going on. So that was a very, very massive shock. All right. And as you can see here, if you look at this depot price and come down here to see the supply, you'll see how the shock actually affected February volumes and even March volumes because people were scared of this and this happened. Okay. Reality check. Who will the next phase of LPG growth favor? Data-driven operators with structured system of trading. All right. So to face the challenges of stiff competition and tight margins, you must have a structured system. And this I showed in the book Beyond the Barrels. You must know what the prevailing price around you is doing. You must know what international pricing is doing and have an idea what the landing cost is. So if you were to take a position in Apapa, for instance, you need to have an idea of what the landing cost is. Um, you look at, is Dangote producing? Is Dangote even loading? We found out sometime in December, a lot of trucks were stuck in Dangote. And if you're not aware of the information, you will sink your money there. Meanwhile, somebody is buying the more expensive Apapa and cleaning out, because the customer are happy buying gas from him. There is no delay, and he's taking the few profit he has, but he's maximizing his capital. So this strategy can only be driven by data. So you need to know when to take position using the data you have. So the Beyond the Barrels book, Nigerian Industrial Operating Manual, is an attempt for you to see what drives the system, how prices are determined. Um, it is an attempt for you to have a trading structure that works, what to look out for, what geopolitical events to look out for. I've been watching the Iran American um, um, crisis for a while before the actual bombing started. If you follow my weekly analysis, you will see where I've been mentioning it as a potential reason for prices to go up. But I don't think anybody really envisages how quickly it really went bad. And now crude oil prices have hit 86 USD per barrel. The first time in over 2 years. And but guess what? This could quickly nosedive. Like what happened July? Was it July last year? I wrote it in my book where position was taken, and before you knew it, Iran and the US were shaking hands. The price dropped like a pack of cards, and there was Dangote feeding the market, and a huge loss was made. So this book is one you should look at. Look at what risk mitigation structure you should put on ground. Yeah, there's risk in transportation. There's risk in product quality. There's a risk in even theft. There's risk in there are several risks you should be aware of, and you should have proper means of mitigating against them. Entering sequences, strategy, when to enter, what to look out for, what to do when you hear certain news. Um, a lot of people missed out on the floating of the naira. People made money. Okay, people that took position before the actual float made money. If you notice during the election, both Tinubu, Atiku, and Obi were all saying they were going to float the naira. So it was clear. It was just a I mean, it was just an issue of when, how is it going to happen. So if you bought the dollar, then you have made money. So that was one action industry people could have taken to make some money. I'm sure people made five money that they could have made in 5 years. Okay, this is industry intelligence and not hype indeed. All right, checklist for operators. If you already run a plant or retail outlet, ask yourself, do you track prices, price cycles strategically? Is your location optimized for long-term growth? Are you expanding with data or emotion? 2026 will separate strategic operators from the reactive ones. So mistakes to avoid: wrong location. All right. So if you're planning to set up a plant, you should um, look out for not just the acceptability of NMDPRA with respect to guidelines, but would it make business sense? Does it have a potential to make you profit for your investment? Okay, we could look at the timing. So the wrong timing could squeeze your margins. So you have to be careful how you trade, when you buy, when you enter a trade, and when you leave a trade. So go for knowledge, or else you'll pay for the mistakes. So before you invest further, before you invest or before you expand, before you finance that project for the bankers, study the industry. Okay, the Beyond the Map, the Barrels book, we take you through the history of the markets, the opportunity in the markets, the regulatory information you need, the risk you should look out for, the mitigation strategy, the trading structure to undertake, to have the lessons from 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 those who have been there, their victories and failures, and of course the tool for the business. All right, I spoke about the LPG in Nigeria platform. If you go to the forum, a lot of you try to advertise. The forum is a very is a free is a free part of the platform that you can use to establish your business or establish yourself. And I can see a lot of foreigners using it. I think you should use it if you have a business that you want to showcase. All right, so that's all for now. I will take your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Godwin, for that powerful presentation. Thank you and thank you. I believe we have questions for you. Questions for you. The floor is open. We're taking just three questions because we don't have enough time. So if you have any question, you can unmute yourself and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Hi, my name is Udubela Abiola from Ijebu, Ogun State, Nigeria.
Good afternoon, Mr. Paul.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we
Yes, we
can
can hear
hear
you,
you.
Paul.
Thank you for the impactful lecture given to us. But I want to divert a little bit. In the course of the DPR and some other agencies controlling LPG in Nigeria, I want to ask why do the LPG, why do the DPR and um, the LPG and co-controllers, why do they disturb with the gas plant and leave all those bottles? Because from my own hand now, like in Javis now, I tend to be one of the major gas plant sellers, major gas plant sellers. So they believe like I'm the one who sells bigger than others. And those who are using bottles, there are some that sell far more than me. There are people that are having 20 bottles compared to me that are having 2.5 kg. So what should I do?
Okay, you're saying
These are
that
my
those
questions.
those who sell via cylinder are making more money than you. Is that what you're saying?
Not even money now. The law enforcement in regards to gas plant, they disturbed me more than those on the bottles. And the one
Oh,
that
Can
they
on the
I
dis
chip
bottle,
in
they are more
something?
okay.
than.
Okay, they
Can I chip in
disturbed you,
something on
but
what he's saying?
is that Paul?
No.
Come
I
again,
think I
come again.
understand what he's saying. What he's saying is there are people who are using 50 kg bottle, right? And also there are
Yes,
people who have
yes,
1 ton, 2 ton, 2.5. So the
yes,
attention of the
yes.
DPR people now is not on the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 people's phone. More than even the one that are doing 50 kg cylinder to cylinder refuel, which is the truth, actually. So that's
Yes,
what he's saying.
yes, yes.
Do you get?
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. So, okay, so you're asking what should we advise you, right?
Yes, what should I do to such case or such scenario?
So I don't believe your question is what should you do to make DPR leave you alone. I don't think that's your question. So I would say that what you can do is to ensure that you meet regulatory requirements. I mean, if they come to you, if they come to visit you and they find out that you are in order, you don't have a problem, except your business is not in tune with regulatory requirements. So there's nothing really you can do about it. Typically, they would not go and meet the LPG the LPG cylinder retailers because probably they feel they don't have money. I mean, they're just roadside. They just leave them with their wahala. So they feel that I mean, you've invested significantly enough to listen to them. I mean, that's my thinking. So what should you do? Just ensure that you have your documentation in place and all. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Godwin.
Please,
Any
I have
other
a question.
questions
I
from
have a
the house?
question.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, okay. My name is Charles Igupwe. So it's a follow-up to what the last speaker asked. So Mr. Godwin, please, from your personal experience in the industry and having in mind with the question the last speaker asked. So what do you think? What predictions can you give gas retailers in terms of those using 50 kg bottles to sell cylinder, using the forces of demand? Because the last speaker made an indirect uh, an indirect remark saying or the direct remark saying that DPL leaves us will be cylinder retailers to which is practically true. Now my question is, what advice do you have to the retailers, those using cylinders, in terms of keeping their business active in future times to come? Because if I heard Mr. Paul, the first speaker, right, he said something about that it's difficult for the cylinder operators, those ones retailing on gas, to meet the category D of the DPR licenses. You understand? So, from your personal experience, what advice do you have for us when they sell on with cylinders? You understand? Do you think there will come a time whereby we will fade away and the plant owners will now maintain or now satisfy the demand of the market? You understand? That's what I want to
Okay,
ask.
let me say so the Nigeria, we are growing at the rate of 2.3 according to World Bank. So if you do 2.3% annually on 200 plus million people, in a couple of years will be 300 million. And if you add more years, it will be 400 million. So the demand for LPG is going to grow. But however, if you follow LPG in Nigeria, you will see that we've been talking about the virtual cylinder recirculation model. It's coming. Something the Ghana something Ghana has adopted too. So there's going to be a time where you and I will return our cylinders. We won't own our cylinders. So what it means is that the retailer would work with those who have the cylinders. So companies are going to be investing in cylinders. So those cylinders will be given to the end user. The end user would not, I mean, own the cylinder anymore. But for the LPG to get to the end user, you will still need the retailer. All right. So if you've not read the VCRM, the virtual cylinder recirculation model, if you've not read it, go and read it and get registered because retailers will be needed all over Nigeria to get registered so that the cylinders that will be invested, that will be added into the platform, will get to the hands of the retailer. So if you were cutting corners as a retailer, you have the opportunity in partnering with those who have invested in these cylinders because they need you to take the cylinder to the end user, just like an Uber. So the retailer will now be like the Uber. The plant will still be relevant. So that value chain will still be relevant. Just that this time around, it is more, it is more, it is more regulated or is more structured. So my advice for retailers, a lot of them do not follow guidelines. Is to follow guidelines and watch the market trend. Get into it, get registered into the VCRM, and watch out for new developments so that when opportunity comes, you can jump in. Thank you.
So please, how can one get registered to the VCRM, or what do you call it again? Or
The
to
the
read
link is on the
about?
platform, and you can read
Okay.
about it on LPG Nigeria. Yes.
Oh, okay.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
So please,
All right,
what
thank you,
agency
Mr.
is
Charles.
handling? Okay, let me just read this.
Okay.
What agency is handling the requalification program? Where can we get more information? In terms of cylinder requalification, I didn't talk about cylinder requalification, but there's also going to be cylinder requalification. I think it's being handled by between SON and NMDPRA. SON in terms of quality of cylinder, because SON gives the permit for you to bring in cylinder or manufacture cylinder. And I don't know about any company that is into pre-qualification of cylinder. I know that Adova is planning one. I know that there's a company somewhere, but I can't really get a hold of it until I maybe speak with an SON personnel to ask. But for now, hold on to your cylinder. When the time to switch cylinder comes, for instance, I mean, if you have an old cylinder that needs requalification and you're given a new cylinder, you can actually switch instead of paying 15,000 to buy gas. You may now pay less the cost of the your cylinder which you are using to swap. So just watch out for the information. Thank you very much for that question.
One
Hello,
more
Mr.
question before we call it a
Yeah,
day.
Mr. Godwin. Thank you for your very professional presentation. Uh, could you make it possible, because your book looks insightful? Can you make it possible, because I tried to purchase it online, make it possible as soon as you are making payment, you are getting the download link? Because when I try to purchase, you say after making payment, you send this and send that. It wasn't looking good. So can you make it and give us those of us that participated in this, give us some discount, like a code? You may sell more.
Interesting. Okay, yes. Okay. What code?
Okay,
Yeah,
we are not going
discount.
to tell you the code because this is being recorded right now.
Oh,
This is
that's
being
true.
recorded. We cannot tell you the
So how
code.
do you want to handle this, Adebukola?
Um, the support. Our support is going to drop our WhatsApp number. Quickly copy that number, and I will send you the code. So as many people that drop the code today, that chats this number today, will get that code. So after today, you don't get the code.
That works. Thank you.
So after
So
today,
sorry, please.
you don't get that code. So support, you can help us
Um,
drop the WhatsApp number.
sorry, please. I have a question, please.
Okay.
Okay, Hassan.
Yeah, this is Azan again from Ogun State. Like you said before, like you said earlier, that if you want to make a registration for the DPR, that if you make a registration from one location and then you are now doing another location, so you have to make the registration separately, right? Now let's
Correct.
assuming that maybe I have an headquarter like now, like in the headquarter I have like maybe like 20 tons there. So now I want to make my company a more like neighborhood skilled something, like maybe I want to move more to the neighborhood so that I can have more customer to attend to. So now I want to the 20 tons where the 20 tons is like maybe like headquarters. So I want to make like 2.5 tons in like 20 maybe like 5 different places now. So I want to make them like a branches or something. So the big one, the 20 tons will be like the headquarter. So do I have to do the registration separately, or do I need to put the 2.5 tons under the big one, or do I have to make the registration separately? Because to me, I think once you have done the 20 tons, it have to cover for the 2.5 tons as well, in as much that you are using the same company, the same registration to make the registration as well. So, like, I need more enlightenment on it. That do we need to make the registration separately, or um, the big the headquarter, like the one that you have registered for, that have the 20
Okay,
tons,
okay, I get your
are
question.
covered for the.
I get
Thank
your
you.
question. You know, the reason why DPR wants you to for permit is just for regulation, safety. So if you have a location that the right safety discount, I mean, if you have a location with the right safety distance, all right, you are fine. You'll get the permit. If you move to a new location with maybe the distance to the nearest school is 10 meter, or the distance to the nearest um, filling station is 2 meters, they won't give you now. Even if you do an extension, you pipe to a new 2.5 metric tons from your initial 20 metric ton storage. They won't give you because it's different. We're talking about safety distance here.
Okay.
You get what I mean? We're talking about safety
Sure, very
distance.
sure.
Yeah, that's the main reason, not because it's not company specific, it's location specific. Actually, it's infrastructure
Okay, so
or
let me get your
facility
point. Okay.
specific. Mm.
Okay, let me get your point clearly now. So what you mean now is that if I have the 20 tons, like now I want a 20 tons in Ogun State, then I move to Osun State, I want like 2.5 tons as well. So my 20 tons here in Ogun State can cover up for the 2.5 tons in Osun State, right?
No, it's a different location. It
Okay,
cannot cover.
okay,
Thank you.
okay. All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you all for joining the webinar. If you know you're interested in consulting, you still want to, you have more questions, you want to ask us, we are available for consultation. You can reach out to us on that same WhatsApp number. We are ready to take in your question and provide the right solutions for you and guide you in this business. Our priority is to ensure that you succeed in this business, in this space, and that is why LPG Nigeria is here for you. And we also want you to follow us on all our digital channels, on our Instagram page, on our Facebook, our Twitter. We're on Twitter. We tweet the latest news about LPG. So kindly get on board, follow us. We're on YouTube. We're on we're on TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok too. Follow us. And our website is loaded. We have a lot of things coming up for you. You don't want to miss out. LPG is not